The battlefield was silent now. Smoke still floated in the broken air, and the ground shook from distant thunder. The human soldier walked carefully through the ruins of the alien outpost. His armor was cracked, his rifle burned from heat, but his eyes stayed sharp. He had survived another fight, but he knew danger was never far away. Then, from the shadows of a collapsed metal wall, he heard a sound. A weak voice, strange yet soft. He lifted his weapon and aimed. There, lying against the wreckage, was an alien prisoner. She was tall, her skin marked with faint glowing lines that pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Shackles still clung to her wrists, proof she had been chained before the attack. Her eyes opened and locked onto his. They were bright, almost too bright, with a shade of silver that reflected the fire around them. He expected her to snarl, to curse, to fight. Instead, she whispered words that froze his heart. "Show mercy, human. My body will give you powerful offspring." For a moment, he thought he had misheard. The words were heavy, shocking, and filled with desperation. His finger tightened on the trigger, but he did not fire. Instead, he stepped closer, keeping his weapon raised. "Repeat that," he said firmly. His voice carried the authority of a soldier who had no time for games. The alien coughed, her chest rising with effort. "Spare me. Do not end me like the others. If you show mercy, I will give you children stronger than you can imagine. Your kind, your blood. It is the strongest in the galaxy." The soldier's mind raced. He had heard rumors, old stories whispered among troops. Strange legends that other species feared humans, not only for their strength but for something hidden in their DNA. Most had laughed it off. But hearing this from the mouth of a dying alien prisoner was something else entirely. "Why would you say that?" he demanded, lowering his rifle slightly but not trusting her. "Why would a warrior like you beg this way?" Her silver eyes filled with tears. "Because I know what your kind is. My people know. We were taught to hate humans, to fight them, but we also learned a secret. Your genes. They are unmatched. Even our leaders fear what your offspring could become if born across species. That is why they hunt you, why they try to bury the truth." The human's jaw tightened. Was she telling the truth? Or was this a trick, a desperate lie to save herself? His soldier's training told him to finish the mission, to leave no enemies alive. But something deeper, a voice in his gut, told him there was more here than survival. He studied her carefully. Her body was bruised, her once proud armor shattered. She was a prisoner, chained and beaten before the battle even started. She had no weapon. Yet she still looked at him with a strange fire in her eyes. Not fear, but hope. "You want me to believe," he said slowly, "that you would join with me? That you would carry children of an enemy?" Her lips trembled, but she held his gaze. "Not enemy. Destiny. You humans are the true heirs of survival. No fire, no poison, no void of space can erase you. Even our strongest warriors fall where your kind continues. I beg you, show mercy. If you do, you will not just save me. You may change the future of galaxies." The soldier felt the weight of her words pressing against his chest. He had fought for years, watched friends die, cities burn, and worlds collapse under alien fire. And now, in this ruined place, an alien was telling him that humanity was more than soldiers, more than victims. Humanity was something greater. He lowered his rifle further, though his hand still shook. The silence between them grew heavy. The fire on them crackled, but the moment was frozen in time. "Why should I trust you?" he asked finally. "Your kind has killed mine. Your fleets have destroyed entire colonies. Give me one reason why I should believe this is not just another trick." The alien struggled to lift her chained hand, placing it weakly on her chest. "Because I have nothing left. I was already a captive before you found me. My people abandoned me. But when I look at you, I see what they fear most. I see the strength to endure. That strength must not die. It must spread." Her words cut through him deeper than any blade. He had always seen himself as just another soldier in an endless war. But she spoke as if he were more a key to something greater. The soldier's heart pounded. He took one step closer. The alien's breathing grew shallow, but her eyes never left his. Then, from beyond the ruins, the low hum of enemy ships began to rise. Lights flashed in the distance, shadows moving quickly. Reinforcements were coming. The soldier looked down at her, then back at the growing glow in the sky. He knew he had to decide. Kill her and escape before the patrol arrived. Or believe her words, take her with him, and risk everything. Her final whisper cut into his mind as the engines roared closer. "Show mercy, human, or the galaxy will never know what it was meant to become." The soldier's finger hovered over his rifle trigger. His breath caught in his throat. For the first time in years, the choice before him was not just life or death, it was destiny. The soldier dragged the alien deeper into the ruins, away from the burning sky. The distant hum of enemy ships grew louder, and every second felt like a countdown to discovery. He found shelter in what was once an alien command room, its walls shattered and screens cracked. There, in the shadows, he placed her down against a broken console. Her breathing was rough, but her silver eyes still glowed with that strange light. She stared at him with a mix of pain and urgency. "You had a choice," she whispered. "And you chose not to kill me. That means you are ready to learn." He frowned, his rifle resting across his knees. "Learn what? That you aliens tell stories to survive?" Her lips curved in a faint, bitter smile. "Not stories, truth, the kind your leaders have tried to hide even from you." The soldier's jaw tightened. He had been raised on Earth's colonies, fed propaganda about survival, strength, and endless war. But no one had ever spoken of humans as something more than fighters. He crossed his arms, waiting. "Speak then," he said. "But if I sense a lie, I end this." The alien nodded, weak but determined. "Our archives speak of your kind not as soldiers, but as the origin. Long ago, before the great empires rose, another civilization existed. They sought to design the perfect survivors. They took seeds from many worlds, many species, but only one line thrived beyond their control: humans." The soldier felt a chill crawl through his spine. "That's impossible. We evolved on Earth. We were born there." Her silver eyes locked on his. "Yes, born there but guided. Your world was chosen because it was harsh, wild, and deadly. The storms, the predators, the diseases, all of them shaped you. You call it home. We call it a death world. Yet you not only survived, you thrived. That is why your genes are feared." The word death world made his pulse quicken. He had heard that insult from alien soldiers before, always spoken with contempt. But in her voice, it was not insult, it was reverence. "You're saying your people studied us? Feared us?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "Feared and desired. Entire wars were fought not for land, not for resources, but for fragments of your bloodline. Even a drop of human DNA, woven into another species, made them stronger, harder to kill. My own people carry a trace. That is why I live long, why I heal fast. But it is only a fragment. The pure source is you." The soldier's grip on his rifle tightened. His mind raced. If this was true, then every battle he fought, every colony burned, wasn't just war, it was control. Control of humanity. Then why hide it? He asked, his voice sharp. Why keep this a secret if humanity is so powerful? Her gaze darkened. Because if humans learned the truth, you would rise. You would stop serving, stop bleeding for others' gains. You would no longer be pawns of empires. They fear the day you realize who you truly are. That is why your kind is kept in chains of endless war. They bleed you dry to keep you from becoming what you were meant to be." The soldier leaned back, his heart hammering. Memories flashed in his mind, friends lost, commanders demanding sacrifice after sacrifice, orders that never seemed to end the conflict. Had it all been designed to keep humanity from looking up, from asking why? He stared at her, searching for weakness, some sign this was a trick. But she met his gaze with a quiet, burning truth. "Why tell me this?" he asked finally. Her chains rattled as she shifted closer. "Because I am proof. I was raised on the lie. I was trained to hate you, to kill you. Yet in the end, when I was left behind as nothing more than a discarded captive, I remembered the old whispers. That if a human and my kind joined, the child would be stronger than any soldier, stronger than any empire. A living weapon, but also a hope." The soldier's breath caught. The way she spoke, calm, certain, desperate yet steady, pulled at something deep in him. "You expect me to just believe this?" he said, shaking his head. "To carry your words like a sacred truth?" "No," she answered, her voice almost a whisper. "I expect you to feel it. Deep down you already know. Why else have humans survived every storm, every invasion, every betrayal? Why else does the galaxy keep you in chains, instead of letting you vanish like weaker species? Because they cannot erase you. They can only contain you." A silence stretched between them, heavy and electric. The soldier's chest rose and fell with sharp breaths. He had been taught to see himself as small, replaceable, just one soldier in an endless war. Now, this alien captive was telling him he was part of something so much bigger, a truth worth killing for, worth hiding from billions. Then, suddenly, the sound of boots echoed outside. The enemy patrol was near. Silver lights flickered through cracks in the wall. The alien gripped his arm with surprising strength, her eyes burning. "Choose, human. You can leave me here to die and walk back to your chains. Or you can carry me, and with me, the truth they have buried for centuries. If they capture me, the knowledge dies with me. If you protect me, destiny begins." The soldier's throat tightened. His hand rested on his rifle, but his heart pounded with something new, not fear, not rage, but a fire he could not explain. Outside, the enemy voices grew louder. The search was closing in. He looked at her, chained and broken, yet glowing with a secret that could shake the galaxy. Then he looked at the door, where shadows gathered like vultures waiting to strike. His choice was no longer just about survival. It was about truth. And the forbidden knowledge only she carried. The soldier pressed his back against the cracked wall, his rifle tight in his hands. The sound of alien patrols echoed outside, metallic boots crunching against rubble, scanners buzzing in the air. Every second mattered. He looked at the alien captive, her glowing silver eyes fixed on him with burning intensity. "You said my kind is more than soldiers," he whispered. "Prove it. Tell me something no enemy would dare invent." The alien's lips trembled, but her voice was steady. "Then listen, human. I will tell you what only the archives of my people dare to hold." She leaned forward, the shackles around her wrists rattling. "We call it the genetic truth. It is the knowledge that humans are not just survivors of Earth. Your blood holds sequences that adapt, faster than any known species. Your immune systems rewrite themselves in days. Your muscles grow stronger after failure. Your minds create new paths where others collapse. You do not simply survive. You evolve while alive." The soldier frowned, his chest tightening. He thought of the countless times soldiers had been injured only to recover faster than anyone thought possible. He remembered his own scars healing quicker than his medics predicted. He had always thought it was luck, stubbornness, or Earth's harsh training. But what if it was something deeper? "That doesn't make us gods," he said. "It makes us stubborn animals." The alien shook her head. "No, it makes you the blueprint of survival. Do you know why your kind is called Deathworlders? Because you were born on a planet where every storm, every beast, every sickness tried to erase you. And yet you remained. Other species would crumble in days. But you humans turned struggle into strength. Her eyes locked on his, glowing with raw conviction. That is why your genes are coveted. Inserted into others, even in fragments, they make them stronger. But pure human blood, pure human seed, creates something unstoppable. My people tested it once, long ago. The child survived diseases that kill entire planets. It breathed air we could not. It walked where gravity crushed others. And it grew stronger each year. The soldier felt his stomach twist. The idea of humans being used like breeding stock made bile rise in his throat. His voice hardened. So that's why you beg? You want my blood to strengthen your kind? Her face softened, almost sorrowful. No, I beg because you must understand what you are. I beg because if you don't know the truth, your people will always remain pawns, used, broken, sent to die without reason. You must see that you are not just soldiers of Earth. You are the key to what the galaxy fears most, freedom. The soldier's mind spun. For years he had fought with no end in sight, believing humanity was weaker, always at the mercy of greater alien fleets. But here was a captive alien, admitting they feared his kind, not for weapons, not for numbers, but for something inside their very blood. The sounds outside grew sharper, patrol voices barking commands, scanners buzzing closer. Time was running out. He crouched in front of her, his face hard. If what you say is true, then why have humans never known this? Why has no one ever told us? Her chains scraped against the floor as she leaned closer, her silver eyes burning like molten light. Because the empires agreed. Every major species signed secret accords to bury the truth. To keep humans locked in endless war. To bleed you until you forget what you are capable of. If you discovered your gift, you would rise, and the empires would fall. The soldier's breath caught. A memory surfaced, his commander once muttering that humans were too dangerous to be allowed peace. At the time, he thought it was cynicism. Now, it felt like a hidden confession. The alien's voice grew urgent. You must decide soon. If the patrol finds me, they will kill me and erase every trace of this knowledge. You will return to your war, blind to your power. But if you take me with you, I can show you proof. Proof in flesh and blood, in records your leaders fear. The soldier's heart thundered in his chest. His instincts screamed to escape alone. But his gut, that deep primal voice that had saved him countless times, whispered something else. This is bigger than you. Bigger than war. The room shook suddenly as a beam of light cut through the cracked ceiling. Enemy drones buzzed above, searching. He raised his rifle, firing a short burst that shattered one into smoking pieces. The rest swarmed closer, alarms blaring. The alien gripped his arm with surprising strength. Choose, human. If you abandon me, you abandon your future. But if you carry me, you carry the truth of what your kind really is. For a brief second, the soldier looked into her glowing silver eyes. In them he saw not just desperation, but something terrifying, belief. She believed in him, in humanity, as if it were destiny. His jaw clenched. He swung his rifle onto his back, then bent down, hooking his arms under her chained body. She gasped in pain but did not resist. The patrol was almost at the door now. Shadows stretched across the broken floor. The soldier whispered through gritted teeth, "If you're lying, I'll end you myself. But if you're telling the truth..." He paused, his voice low and burning. "Then this galaxy will regret ever underestimating humanity." With that, he lifted her and moved into the darkness, carrying not just a prisoner, but a secret that could change everything. The ruined corridors echoed with the sound of pursuit. The human soldier carried the chained alien across his shoulders, her glowing patterns faint but steady against the darkness. His boots crunched over shattered glass and scorched metal as he moved through the wreckage of the fallen outpost. Behind him, the patrol grew louder, alien voices shouting commands. Scanners buzzing, drones flying overhead like hunting birds. The soldier's heart pounded, but his movements were sharp, controlled. Years of war had taught him how to run, how to hide, how to survive when outnumbered. But this was different. He wasn't just running for his life. He was running with something the galaxy itself wanted silenced. The alien captive's voice was weak, but urgent against his shoulder. They know I am here. They will not stop until I am ash. If they find us, they will not kill you quickly. They will tear the truth from me first. The soldier gritted his teeth. Then we don't let them find us. He slipped into a narrow passage where broken pipes leaked steam. The air burned his lungs, but he pushed forward, keeping his rifle ready. Through cracks in the wall, he glimpsed searchlights cutting through smoke. The patrol was fanning out. They were closing in. The alien stirred faintly. Why risk yourself for me? You could have left me. He didn't answer at first. His boots splashed through shallow water as he crouched low, moving through the shadows. Only when he was sure the patrol's footsteps were behind did he whisper, "Because something in me knows you're telling the truth. And if you are, humanity's been chained for too long." Her silver eyes flickered with surprise, then softened. She whispered, "Then you already understand what your leaders fear most." Before he could reply, the sound of a drone buzzed above the tunnel. A spotlight shot down, blinding him. Instinct took over. He dropped to one knee, firing a burst. Sparks exploded as the drone spun out of control and crashed. But the blast gave away his position. Target sighted. A voice roared in the alien tongue. Heavy boots pounded closer. The soldier cursed it under his breath and ran. The alien's weight slowed him, but adrenaline burned through his veins. He darted through a broken hatch into a wide chamber filled with fallen beams and shattered glass. The patrol burst in from the other side, armored figures with glowing rifles raised, pinned, outnumbered, no way out. The soldier dropped behind cover, his mind racing. He was just one man, but surrender was not an option. He looked at the alien captive, her silver eyes glowing faintly even in the dust. "Hide your fear," she whispered. "They feed on it." Something inside him snapped. He wasn't just running anymore. He was fighting back. With a roar, he swung his rifle up and fired. Shots ripped across the chamber, sparks and smoke filling the air. He moved fast, unpredictable, using wreckage as cover. One alien soldier fell, then another. But for each one down, two more advanced. Blaster fire burned against the walls, forcing him back. A shot grazed his armor, searing his side, but he pushed through the pain. Then, suddenly, the alien captive raised her chained hands. For a moment her glowing patterns flared bright, pulsing like a storm. Energy crackled through the air, warping the metal around them. The patrol faltered, stumbling as if gravity itself shifted. Beams bent, dust rained down, and one alien was crushed under falling debris. The soldier stared in shock. "What did you just do?" Her voice shook with exhaustion. "My people are bred with fragments of your kind. That power you saw, it is a shadow of what you hold in your blood. I only borrowed it. You are the source." The revelation struck him like lightning. If this was her weakened state, what could full human potential unleash? The patrol regrouped quickly, their commander shouting orders. Drones whirred overhead, preparing to fire. The soldier clenched his jaw, lifting his rifle again. But before he fired, the alien gripped his arm with desperate strength. "Listen to me, human. If they capture us, they will dissect me. They will erase every trace of the truth I've told you. You must not let that happen. Even if I fall, you must carry this knowledge. You must remember what you are. Her words struck something primal in him. He had carried orders all his life. Orders to fight. Orders to die. But this was no order. This was destiny. The enemy advanced, but the soldier stood tall, fire burning in his chest. He grabbed the alien tighter, then leaped through a crack in the wall as the chamber erupted in explosions. Dust and fire swallowed the room behind him. He hit the ground hard on the other side, rolling with the alien in his arms. Alarms blared above as enemy ships circled, flooding the ruins with light. The galaxy itself seemed to be closing in. But even as he bled, even as his lungs burned, he felt a strange calm. For the first time, he wasn't just a soldier escaping death. He was a human carrying the truth, and the hunters who chased him had no idea what that meant. As the ruins trembled around them, he whispered a vow under his breath, meant for himself, meant for the galaxy. You hunted us long enough. Now, humanity will rise. The night swallowed the ruins as the soldier stumbled into the abandoned tunnels beneath the outpost. His breath came heavy. His side burned where the blast had grazed him, but he didn't stop. The alien captive's weight pressed against his shoulder, yet strangely, he no longer felt her as a burden. She was weak, trembling, but alive. The tunnel was damp, water dripping from pipes above, echoing like a slow heartbeat. He lowered her carefully against the wall, his rifle still clutched tight in his hands. For the first time since the chase began, there was silence. The alien's glowing lines pulsed faintly, like fading stars. Her silver eyes opened, soft but determined. You risked yourself for me. Again, the soldier sat across from her, his back against the wall. He checked the power cell of his rifle, his movement steady despite the pain in his side. I risked myself because you might be telling the truth. And if you are, then losing you means losing more than just one life. Her lips curved into a faint smile. You do not realize how rare you are. Most humans would have left me. Most would have pulled the trigger the moment I begged. But you chose mercy. He looked at her sharply. Don't mistake mercy for trust. I don't trust you. Not yet. Her silver eyes glimmered in the dark. And yet you carry me. He fell silent. She was right. For reasons he couldn't fully explain, he had carried her through fire, drones, and soldiers. Something deep inside told him this alien was more than a prisoner. She was a key, and if he let her die, the key would be lost forever. The soldier ripped a strip from his torn sleeve and pressed it against his wound. The alien watched him carefully, then slowly raised her chained hands. With effort, she placed them over his side. Her skin felt strangely warm, her glowing lines flaring brighter. Hold still, she whispered. A soft pulse of energy seeped from her palms into his wound. Heat spread through him, sharp at first, then soothing. The pain dulled, his skin knitting faster than it should have. He hissed through his teeth, eyes widening. What are you doing? He demanded. Borrowing from the fragment of humanity that runs in me, she replied softly. Healing is slow, but with your kind's essence, it becomes faster. This is what I meant when I said your blood is power. Even broken, it teaches us to endure. He stared at her, stunned. You used my own kind's strength against me? No, she said firmly, her voice trembling but steady. I used it for you. Because I owe you my life. The words hung heavy in the air. In a galaxy where enemies rarely spoke without hatred, hearing a captive alien declare a debt to a human felt unreal. The soldier leaned back, his breathing slower now. He studied her face, the strange glow in her skin, the sharp lines of her features, the weariness that clung to her. She was alien, yes. But there was something deeply human in the way she spoke, the way she looked at him. Finally he asked, if what you say is true, if humanity's what they fear most, then why reveal it to me? Why not keep it hidden? Her gaze softened, almost sad. Because when I was chained, abandoned by my own kind, I thought I would die nameless, forgotten. But then I saw you. A human bleeding, scarred, and still fighting. You are proof of everything the archives whisper. And if even one human believes the truth, then maybe the galaxy cannot bury it forever. The soldier's chest tightened. He had lived his life obeying orders, never questioning the endless cycle of war. Yet here, in the dark, an alien prisoner was giving him something he had never known before. Purpose. Before he could respond, the tunnel trembled. Distant echoes of engines rumbled above. Search parties were still out there, hunting. The alien leaned her head against the wall, her eyes closing briefly. They will not stop. They cannot allow us to escape. But if we survive tonight, if we reach the wastelands beyond, then you and I will no longer be soldier and captive. We will be fugitives, bound by survival. The soldier gripped his rifle tighter. He thought of her words, of the strange healing she had given him, of the knowledge she carried. Trust was still a distant thing, but the bond was already forming, whether he liked it or not. He stood, offering his hand. Then we survive tonight. Both of us. After that, we see if your truth holds weight. Her chained hands trembled as she reached for his. Their palms touched, a fragile bridge between enemies. And for the first time since the war began, the soldier felt something more than rage or despair. He felt the beginning of an alliance born, not of trust, not of love, but of survival. Above them, the hunters prowled. But down here, in the broken tunnels, the bond of survival had been forged. The tunnels stretched for miles, leading them far from the ruined outpost. Hours passed in silence except for the soldier's steady footsteps and the alien's faint breathing against his shoulder. The world above was still alive with searchlights and the thrum of engines. But down here, in the forgotten passages, shadows kept them hidden. Finally, they reached a chamber that smelled of dust and iron. Ancient walls were etched with symbols that glowed faintly in the dark. Symbols the soldier could not read. He lowered the alien gently onto the floor, then scanned the room with cautious eyes. She opened her silver gaze, recognition flashing across her face. This place. It is older than the empires. A vault of the first colonists. The soldier frowned. What is it? Her chained fingers brushed the glowing symbols. Proof. This is where the lies began. A hiss of air filled the room as hidden machinery stirred awake. Dust rained down from the ceiling. A panel opened in the wall, revealing cracked hollow crystals stacked in rows. They flickered with light when touched, each one carrying echoes of ancient records. The soldier raised his rifle, his instincts screaming trap, but the alien's trembling hands reached for one crystal. As it activated, ghostly images filled the chamber. Strange beings, neither human nor alien, cloaked in shimmering robes. Their voices were distorted, but their words still carried weight. Experiment code. Genesis. Subject, Homo sapiens. Results, exceed projections. Rapid adaptation. Survival in extreme environments confirmed. Recommend restriction protocols. The soldier's heart pounded as the words sank in. His hands shook around his rifle. The alien turned to him, her silver eyes burning. Do you see now? You were never supposed to know. They did not want you to rise. They created chains of war to keep you blind. The hala shifted. Images of alien leaders, different species, united at one long table appeared. Their voices blended, cold and deliberate. Agreement signed. The human line must remain isolated. Do not allow expansion beyond controlled colonies. If knowledge spreads, the empires will fall. The soldier felt rage burning hot in his chest. Every battle, every sacrifice, every funeral he had endured, none of it had been about survival of his people. It had all been a cage. A prison built not with bars, but with lies. His voice was sharp, shaking with fury. So the galaxy united to keep us down. All of them. Enemies, allies, it didn't matter. They feared us more than they hated each other. The alien nodded slowly. Yes, and that fear was justified. Even fractured, even enslaved by endless wars, your kind has done what no species could. You survived everything. You grew stronger with each wound. Imagine what would happen if you rose united, if your true nature was known. The soldier's chest heaved, his fists clenched so hard his knuckles ached. For the first time in his life, he felt the war differently. He wasn't just a soldier in someone else's battle. He was a prisoner of a conspiracy spanning the stars. The alien studied him carefully, her voice softer now. You understand why I begged, why I offered what I did. It was not weakness, human. It was choice. A choice to place the truth in your hands. He stared at her, still struggling to breathe. You mean to tell me every drop of blood we spilled was for nothing? Every life wasted was because they feared us? Her answer was steady, unflinching. Not for nothing. Each drop reminded them why they feared you, but yes, they turned your strength into chains. The silence stretched heavy, broken only by the hum of the old holocrystals. Then the soldier slammed his fist against the wall, the sound echoing like thunder. They think they can cage us forever, he growled. But cages break. The alien's silver eyes softened, almost glowing brighter in the shadows. Then break it, human. Break it with me. Before he could answer, the chamber shook violently. Dust rained from the ceiling, lights flickered, and the faint whine of scanners pierced the air. The patrol had tracked them here. The alien gasped, pressing her chained hands to her chest. They will destroy this vault. They cannot let these records survive. If the conspiracy is exposed, the empires will fracture. The soldier swung his rifle onto his back and reached for her. His voice was fire now. Then we don't let them destroy it. We fight, and we carry the truth out of here. Even if the galaxy burns trying to stop us. The walls trembled as explosions ripped outside. The hunters were coming. The vault, the knowledge, and their lives hung by a thread. The soldier looked at the glowing crystals one last time, fury blazing in his eyes. Humanity had been chained long enough. Now he carried not just a captive, not just survival, but the conspiracy that could topple entire empires. And for the first time, the hunter's role had shifted. It was not just the patrol that hunted them anymore. It was humanity's turn to hunt the truth and reclaim its destiny. The vault shook as explosions thundered above. Dust rained down like ash, and the ancient holocrystals flickered, their fragile light trembling in the dark. The soldier stood in the center of the chamber, rifle in hand, chest heaving. Beside him, the alien captive leaned against the wall, silver eyes blazing even as her body trembled with exhaustion. The patrol was closing in. Their voices echoed through the tunnels, commands sharp, weapons humming. Soon they would storm the chamber, destroy the vault, and erase the truth forever. The soldier's gaze flicked from the glowing records to the alien captive. Her words echoed in his mind. They made you pawns. They bled you to keep you blind. If you rise, the empires will fall. He had always believed war was survival. But now he saw it for what it truly was, a cage. Humanity's blood had been spilled not for freedom, but for control. And if he did nothing now, the cage would remain forever. The alien pushed herself upright, her chains rattling. They will come through that door any moment. You must decide, human. Will you leave me, leave this truth, and return to their chains? Or will you stand here against them all, and let the galaxy see what humans truly are? The soldier's heart pounded. His instincts screamed at him to escape, to survive another day. But something deeper, older, primal rose inside him. The same voice that had carried his kind through storms, famine, and endless war. The voice of humanity itself. He slung his rifle across his chest, jaw set. No more running. No more cages. Tonight they see what we are. The alien's silver eyes widened, and for the first time, she bowed her head slightly, not as a prisoner, but as one recognizing something greater. Then you are the spark I prayed for. The chamber doors exploded inward. Blinding light cut through the dust as armored figures stormed in, weapons raised. The soldier stepped forward, placing himself between the enemy and the alien captive. "Stand down, human." The commander barked in a guttural alien tongue. "Surrender the fugitive. Leave the vault. This knowledge is forbidden." The soldier raised his rifle, his voice steady as iron. "Forbidden to you. Not to us." The patrol opened fire. Blasts seared the chamber, crystals shattering one by one. The soldier moved like a storm, ducking, firing, striking with brutal precision. For every shot they fired, he answered with one of his own, his movements fueled not just by training but by fury. Beside him, the alien captive's chains glowed as her patterns flared. She drew on the last of her strength, bending the air, warping the gravity, dragging enemies down with invisible force. Together they fought not soldier and prisoner, not enemies, but two survivors bound by truth. Still, the numbers pressed in. The soldier's rifle hissed, nearly drained of power. Sweat burned his eyes. His muscles screamed. He knew they couldn't hold forever. Then in the chaos, he saw it, a crystalline core at the center of the vault, glowing brighter than the rest. If he could reach it, maybe the vault could transmit its records before being destroyed. Maybe the truth could spread. The alien's voice pierced his mind. "The core. If you trigger it, the truth will be sent. Every empire, every world, every outpost will hear. But if you do this, there is no going back. They will hunt you. They will hunt all of humanity." The soldier's chest heaved. His choice lay before him, silence and survival, or truth and war. He looked at the alien, her silver eyes filled with fire despite her chains. He looked at the broken records, the ghosts of humanity's stolen destiny. Then he looked at the patrol, enemies who thought they had already won, and he knew, with a roar. He sprinted through the chaos, blaster fire grazing his armor. He crashed against the core, slamming his hand onto its surface. Light erupted, pure and blinding, flooding the chamber. Symbols and voices spilled out, ancient words mixing with his own raw defiance. "Humanity is not your pawn." He shouted. "We are not your soldiers, not your slaves. We are the storm you cannot cage. We are the fire you cannot kill. We are the future you feared." The core pulsed, sending its message out across hidden networks buried beneath the stars. Worlds away, leaders would see. Soldiers would hear. Citizens would whisper. The conspiracy was broken. The patrol froze, horror spreading across their faces as the realization hit. The truth was no longer theirs to bury. The soldier turned, fire blazing in his eyes. "You hunted us long enough. Now humanity hunts you." With that, he lifted his rifle and fired one last shot, shattering the chamber ceiling. The vault collapsed in fire and dust, burying the invaders in rubble. When the smoke cleared, only silence remained. The soldier staggered to his feet, the alien captive leaning against him. The vault was gone, but its message had already flown across the stars. The galaxy would never be the same, the alien whispered, her voice faint but certain. "You chose war, but you also chose freedom." The soldier's gaze hardened, staring at the burning sky above. "No, I chose truth. And now the galaxy will see what it means to stand against humanity." Together, they walked into the ruins, fugitives carrying a fire that could not be extinguished. Behind them, the empires trembled. Ahead of them, destiny waited. Humanity had been chained for centuries. Tonight, one soldier shattered the lock,